I took her back after she cheated, told myself people deserve second chances. Then I found the same motel key in her purse again. When I showed it to her, she said, "If you were better, I wouldn't need anyone else." That night, I didn't confront her. I just started building the plan that would leave her alone, penniless, and questioning everything. I'm Eric. I'm 42. I live in Dayton, Ohio, and I've been a mechanic since I was 19. My whole life, I've been the type of guy who fixes things. Cars, problems, sometimes even people. I met Denise when I was 32. She was 29, worked in marketing for a company in Columbus but traveled to Dayton a lot for work. We met at a bar on a Thursday night, nothing fancy, just one of those places that smells like beer and old wood. She sat 2 stools down from me, drinking a gin and tonic, and when I glanced over, she smiled first. She had this easy charm. When she laughed, you felt like you were in on something special. It didn't take long. A couple of dates, and then it was like we were glued together. She moved in about a year and a half later. It felt right at the time. I bought a small house just outside the city. Had a backyard, a grill, enough room for her little plants. She liked putting everywhere. I brought her coffee in bed on Sundays. We made plans for a dog, vacations we never took. We talked about getting married, but she always said, "Why rush something that's good?" I was okay with that. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. 4 years ago, I was working crazy hours at my buddy Clay's garage. We had a rare job, rebuilding a '69 Camaro for a collector. I was staying late most nights. Denise said she understood. She even brought me dinner once or twice. Then one night she told me she wasn't feeling well. Said she was going to bed early. I came home around 10 p.m. The lights were off. Her car wasn't in the driveway. I called her twice. No answer. I didn't panic. Not yet. Maybe she went to her sister's or to get something to eat. But the longer I sat there, the more that sick feeling crawled up my spine. I drove. No direction, just drove. I passed gas stations, closed shops, quiet neighborhoods. And then, without thinking, I turned onto the service road by I-75. I don't know what made me stop at the Northwood Motel. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe I already knew. Her car was parked near the far end. Red Mazda, easy to spot. I got out. Walked past the row of doors. Room 109. The lights were on inside. TV flashing. Voices. I didn't knock. I didn't scream. I just stood there a minute, heart beating so loud it felt like it would tear out of my chest. Then I got in my truck and drove home. She walked in around midnight, holding a small paper bag like she'd just been out grabbing snacks. She saw my face and froze. I asked her, "Where were you?" She said, "I couldn't sleep. Went to the store." I told her about the motel. About the car. About room 109. She didn't even try to deny it. Her face dropped. She sat down and started crying. "I messed up," she said. "I was lonely. I felt ignored. You're always working." She made herself the victim. I wanted to yell. I wanted to smash something. But I didn't. I just stood there, silent, listening to her sob, and somewhere deep down, a part of me still wanted to fix it. We talked. A lot. Weeks of it. She swore it was just once. That it meant nothing. That she was scared I didn't love her anymore. We went to therapy. She gave me her passwords. Deleted social media. Promised me the moon. I took her back. People deserve second chances, right? Fast forward 3 years. Things were calm, mostly. We got a dog, Ruger, a big black lab with more energy than I could handle. Denise started working from home. Said she liked being closer to me. But something changed. Little things at first. She stopped laughing at my dumb jokes. She turned her phone face down every time it buzzed. Started going out more, girls' nights, yoga, late Target runs that took 2 hours. I asked her one night if she was happy. She said, "Stop overthinking everything." I tried to shake it off. But I couldn't. I started watching closer. Not stalking, just noticing. One night, I went to grab my wallet out of her purse. It wasn't hidden. Wasn't snooping. But I saw it. A motel key. Same place. Northwood. The damn key tag even said room 113. I just stared at it. My hands started shaking. I put it back and sat on the couch, in the dark, for over an hour. When she came home, I waited until she was settling into bed. I pulled the key out and held it up. Her eyes locked on it. She didn't even blink. Then she said, real calm, real cold, "If you were better, I wouldn't need anyone else." That was the moment I broke. Not loud. Not angry. I just snapped quiet inside. I didn't say another word that night. But I started planning. After she told me, "If you were better, I wouldn't need anyone else," something inside me shut off. Not just my love for her. That was already half dead. What shut off was the part of me that gave a damn about being nice. The man who forgave her the first time? He was gone. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to let her turn this into another emotional mistake she could cry through and sweet-talk her way out of. This time, I wasn't going to be the one begging for something better. This time, I was going to ruin her, slow, clean, and quiet. We weren't married, but we owned the house together. Technically, she moved in after I'd already bought it, but after a few years of her paying into the mortgage, we added her name to the title. That's where I had to start. I met with an attorney. A good one. Real no-nonsense guy named Ralph who had been through 2 divorces himself. I told him everything. He said, "You want to keep the house, drain the money, and leave her with nothing, all without her seeing it coming?" I said, "Exactly." He smiled like I just ordered his favorite drink. We worked out a plan. It wasn't illegal, just smart. I'd transfer the house back into my name, legally, through a quitclaim deed. But to do that without her freaking out, I needed a reason she'd believe. So I told her I was redoing my will. Said it was for insurance purposes. Told her I wanted to protect her. That if I died, I didn't want any probate issues. It'd be easier if the house was just under my name, then passed directly to her later. She nodded. Didn't even read the form. Just signed it while eating leftover Chinese on the couch. I recorded everything. Every form. Every signature. Every "I understand" from her. Next, the bank accounts. We had one joint account for bills and groceries. I slowly started draining it. Just 100 here, 200 there. I said I was keeping more cash on hand, since some contractors we hired for the backyard work didn't take cards. She didn't question it. She wasn't watching our finances. She never really did. That was always me. Then I opened a new savings account, but not under my name. I used my brother Scott. He owed me a favor from way back. I gave him access, but it was understood this was temporary. He'd transfer everything back later. By the end of 2 months, our joint savings was empty. I also made sure to cancel her name off the credit cards. Told the companies we'd broken up but were still cohabitating. They froze her cards. For safety. She had to call them herself to reinstate anything, and she never did. Here's the part I'm least proud of, but it was necessary. I made her feel loved again. I started being the perfect boyfriend. Took her out on Fridays. Left sweet notes on the bathroom mirror. Even brought flowers home. Just because. She fell for it. Whatever doubt she had about me knowing the truth was fading. She was more relaxed. More careless. She left her phone out again. That's when I found out who he was. Paul wasn't just some fling. He was married. 3 kids. Lived up in Troy. Ran a contracting business, and had been doing jobs in Dayton for the past year. They met at some networking event. He was the type of guy who posted selfies at the gym, talked about hustling, and called himself an alpha. I hated him instantly. I didn't confront him right away. I waited. I went to his job site one weekday afternoon when Denise thought I was working. I brought him a cup of coffee and asked if we could talk, in private. We sat in his truck. I said, "You know Denise is living with me, right? We've been together almost 9 years. He looked like I slapped him. Said she told him I was an ex who couldn't afford to move out. That she was just waiting until things settled. I showed him photos, texts, bank statements. Everything. He went quiet. Said he had no idea. That he thought she was honest. I told him, "She's not. And now either of us has an excuse to be stupid." He agreed to cut her off completely. Said he was going to tell his wife and deal with the fallout. Whether he did or not, I didn't care. All I wanted was for her to have no one to run to when this blew up. I waited 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks of kisses, dinners, and watching her lie to my face like it was nothing. Then, one Friday evening, I waited until she was dressed up, makeup perfect, about to head out to meet a friend. I had her suitcase packed by the door. She looked at it and said, "What's that?" I said, "You don't live here anymore." She laughed. Thought it was a joke. I handed her a folder with everything, the house deed in my name, her name removed from the utilities, the bank statements, and a flash drive of all her texts with Paul. She flipped through it like it was written in another language. Then I said, "You've got 5 minutes to leave." She broke. Started crying. Said she didn't mean it. Said I was overreacting. Said we could fix it. I told her, "Fix it with someone else." She asked where she was supposed to go. I said, "Try room 113. Then I shut the door. She stood outside for 15 minutes that night, crying on the porch, begging me to open the door. I didn't. Eventually, she walked to her car, still parked in my driveway, and sat there for a while. Then she drove off. I locked the door, poured myself a drink, and waited. I knew she wasn't done. People like Denise don't lose quietly. The next day, I started getting texts. First from mutual friends, people she barely saw but kept on social media for show. One said, "Hey man, Denise just told us you kicked her out over some misunderstanding? Everything okay?" Another, "She said you were being emotionally abusive, controlling. That she didn't feel safe." There it was. Her angle. She wasn't going to own up to what she did. She was going to flip the script and play the victim. I didn't respond to most of them. Just let the silence speak. But when my boss pulled me into the office Monday and said, "Hey, just want to check in," someone called HR and said you've been emotionally unstable at home? That's when I knew. She was trying to ruin me professionally too. What she didn't know. I'd already backed up every text, every photo, every signed document. I had everything in a secure folder on 2 drives, one at my place, one in a locked drawer at my brother's. I told my boss the truth. Showed him a few things. He believed me. Denise's little campaign started falling apart quick. 2 weeks after I kicked her out, I got a message from her sister, Mandy. Mandy and I were never close, but she was decent. Straight shooter. She said, "She's staying on my couch. Hasn't stopped crying. Says she's broke. Says you stole her half the house." I replied with one message. Ask her if she read what she signed. Mandy didn't reply. Not right away. A few days later she messaged again. "Just so you know, she's trying to get legal help." Said you tricked her? Good. Let her try. Let her find a lawyer who's willing to fight a signed quitclaim deed, a paper trail, and a full video of her calmly agreeing to the terms. She'd lose. And she did. The lawyer she found must have taken one look and told her it wasn't worth the billable hours, because suddenly she stopped pushing the legal side. That didn't stop her from trying other things. 3 weeks later, she showed up at my door. Hair messy. No makeup. Hoodie and sweatpants. I could see the act coming from a mile away. She knocked softly. I opened the door but didn't say a word. Can we talk? She asked. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me. Ruger barked from inside, tail wagging like nothing was wrong in the world. She looked up at me with those eyes that used to hook me in. I messed up, she said. Not just once. I lost myself. But I never stopped loving you. I didn't say anything. She went on. I keep waking up thinking I'm still in our bed. Then I look around and it's a couch with a broken spring. I miss waking up to you. I miss being safe. That last word, safe, was a subtle dig. Like she was still hinting I was the threat in the story. I said, You miss being comfortable. Not with me. With the life you didn't earn. She flinched. I wasn't being cruel. I was being honest. There's a difference. She tried again. I can change. I swear. I've started seeing a therapist. I've been sober. Sober? That was new. Apparently, she'd been drinking during the last few months. Said it helped her. Numb the guilt. Didn't change a damn thing. Drunk or sober, a lie is still a lie. I looked at her, quiet for a moment. Then I said, You thought I'd take you back. She didn't deny it. You thought you could crawl out of the same hole you dug twice, and find me waiting with a ladder. Tears came then. Real ones this time. Not the performative kind. She whispered. Where do I go from here? I said, That's not my problem. And I walked back inside. After the failed pity routine, she tried revenge. First came the fake social media posts. Screenshots of fake texts she claimed I sent her. Made it look like I threatened her. They didn't go viral, she didn't have that kind of reach, but a few friends messaged me again. I was ready. I posted one single photo. A screenshot of her messages to Paul. One where she said, I wish Eric would just disappear. I'd rather live in a motel with you than spend another night pretending. People started backing off. The truth was harder to ignore. Then came the job sabotage. She called around to my clients, people I'd done repair work for, claiming I damaged their cars or overcharged them. Didn't work. I have receipts. Time-stamped photos. Happy customers. Each lie she told dug her deeper into the pit she created. She came back one more time. Only this time, she didn't knock. She waited until I was at work, climbed over the back fence, and tried to get inside through the sliding glass door. I had security cameras. Got a motion alert around noon. Saw her on my phone, jiggling the handle, trying to force it. I called the cops. Had them meet me at the house. She was still in the backyard when we got there. She claimed she was just getting some of her stuff. Only thing of hers left was a ceramic plant pot. And she broke it while trying to pry the door open. They arrested her for trespassing. That night, I sat on the porch with Ruger and a cold beer. Watched the footage again. Watched her desperation. Her rage. I didn't feel good. But I felt done. After the trespassing charge, Denise disappeared for a bit. I figured she moved in with some friend, or maybe rented a room somewhere. I didn't care. I was done watching her spiral. I focused on work. On rebuilding what she tried to wreck. I fixed my reputation. Kept my clients. Cleaned out every trace of her from the house. But I couldn't stop thinking about one last thing. It started with a box I found in the garage. I was cleaning out some shelves, clearing space for a new workbench. The box was tucked behind a stack of old paint cans. Labeled, Be Private. I hadn't seen it in years. Probably hadn't touched it since we moved in. Inside were a few notebooks, old letters, photos, stuff she never talked about. One thing stood out, a manila envelope with a name on it. Dr. Meredith Langston Counseling Notes. I opened it. Inside were printed emails between Denise and a therapist she saw back in Columbus, long before I met her. The emails were raw. Painful. Honest. And they told me something I didn't know. She had lied to people her whole life. Lied to her parents about being assaulted in high school to cover up skipping class and getting caught drunk at a party. Lied to her first fiancé. Told him she had a miscarriage when she never even wanted kids. Lied to coworkers, to friends, to men. For attention. For sympathy. For control. It wasn't just me. She built her whole life on lies. And it hit me, her smear campaign, her fake tears, her false abuse claims. This wasn't new. This was who she always was. And no one ever stopped her. That's when I knew. I had to make sure she'd never be able to do it again. The final plan: she had one weakness left, her job history. Before she moved to Dayton, Denise worked for a mid-size marketing firm in Columbus. She'd put that job on every resume, used it as a reference. Problem was, I knew she got fired. She told me once, drunk, on a camping trip. Said she stole ideas from another employee's pitch and passed them off as her own. But she always bragged that they never put it in writing. No HR documentation. No paper trail. That gave me an idea. I drove up to Columbus. Found the building. The company was still there, new manager, smaller staff, but still standing. I asked for the owner. Said I used to date Denise Harper and was looking to confirm some job details for a legal reason. At first, he looked cautious. Then he laughed. Denise? That girl was a nightmare. He remembered her. I asked him if he'd ever considered writing a statement, something formal, for her past misconduct. He paused. Then he said, You know what? She always thought she was smarter than everyone else. I'd be happy to. He wrote it on company letterhead. A formal acknowledgement that Denise Harper was terminated for ethical violations related to plagiarism and workplace dishonesty. I thanked him. Drove home. And waited. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, her name popped up on LinkedIn. She was trying to get hired at a nonprofit group in Cincinnati. A women's advocacy network. Real polished website. Paid speaking gigs. Big donors. She applied for a leadership role. The same Denise who once lied about being assaulted was trying to become the face of female empowerment. I sent the HR manager the statement. No comment. No response. But her name disappeared from the candidates list the next day. A week later, she posted a vague update. Sometimes life throws unexpected challenges. Staying strong, staying grounded. My journey isn't over. No likes. No comments. Just silence. I didn't plan what happened next. A few days later, I got a message on Facebook. From Paul's wife. Her name was Natalie. We hadn't spoken directly before. She just said, Can we talk? We met at a coffee shop. She was polite. Calm. Collected. Said she was in the middle of divorce paperwork. Said Paul admitted to the affair. Said Denise tried to reach out to her directly afterward. Just to clear the air. Natalie handed me her phone. Showed me the messages. Denise told her I had pressured her into the affair with Paul. That I was emotionally manipulative and used sex as control. It was a lie so bold, so ridiculous, it stunned even Natalie. But then she smiled. I'm not stupid, she said. But I am vindictive. She told me Denise was working part-time at a diner in Riverside. Barely covering rent for a room above someone's garage. No car. No friends left. Burn every bridge. And then she said, You want to help me finish this? I nodded. We wrote one post. Just one. It had the screenshots. The termination letter. The motel receipts. The quitclaim deed. The text from Paul. We posted it to a private local group, a community board with 8,000 members. Denise had been a regular poster there. The title was, Be careful who you trust, my experience with Denise Harper. We didn't insult her. We didn't curse her out. We just told the truth. Point by point. Plain facts. It blew up. Within an hour, the comments section exploded. Women she'd worked with. Guys she'd lied to. Neighbors. People who'd always felt weird about her stories. One by one, they started sharing their experiences. By the end of the day, she deleted every profile she had. The next morning, the diner posted a hiring ad. Word got out she'd been fired after someone threatened to boycott over her being there. She was done. Not just broke. Not just alone. Unwelcome. Everywhere. I'm fine. Got a steady hand back under me. Ruger's still the loudest alarm system in the zip code. My shop's busier than ever. Sometimes I still see her name pop up, someone tagging an old photo, or a memory post she forgot to delete. But mostly she's gone. And I'm good with that. Because the thing about people like Denise is, they always think they'll land on their feet. Until they don't. And when the last lie crumbles, and the last bridge burns, all that's left is the truth. And this time, she had to sit in it. Alone. For good.